works as well. So.
Yeah, the
Well,
whole
actually, it's quite good with 1 HP as well. Not overpowered, but
it's reasonable. Yeah, it's good against green if green becomes more popular. Hello everyone and welcome back to Premature Speculation for episode 3.1. Unfortunately, we didn't get the spoilers for the last two colors until after the patch came out already, so it's not premature, we actually get to see the cards in action. And I'm here today with Anis and Tracy, and we're gonna start with the black color, and we're gonna start with Attendants of Silent, which is a 1 mana 1/1, and when this creature is set in creature zone while there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, it gains Contagion 1, and if there are 10 cards, you at the beginning of the turn increase skill cost of target item opponent controls by 3. So what do you guys think?
not a fan.
I feel like it's alright as a 1-drop. I mean, Contagion 1 is quite a nice skill, but it's nothing special.
I mean, the fact that it's 5 or more cards makes it reasonable to get it out somewhat early-ish.
Yeah, I think it's got the least needed for all of the sort of attendants,
Yeah.
I think.
But it's still gonna be too late. Like, the point of a 1-drop is that you want to play it early game. If you have a 1-drop that you don't want to play early game, it better be doing something amazing late game. For example, like Rotten Hound, it becomes a 3/2 late game for free.
Or even just the white version, the white attendant.
Yeah.
Because that comes in with courage. I got one and I played with it late game, and it's just fun. Because the opponent has to treat it as if it's a 5-drop or a 4-drop. Because of courage.
Yeah, that's what the problem is. Courage versus Contagion. Contagion, to trigger it you have to kill off your guy, while Courage, your opponent has to kill it. And when late game, it's much easier to force your opponent into killing your guy inefficiently than it is to to trade off your 1/1 for value. And I mean, the second skill is nice, and it's one of those skills where if it hits once, it's good enough. But playing it just to hope to set it up, it's kind of risky, and the reward is not that amazing.
Black already has good 1-drop, so this is...
Yeah.
It's useless compared to the others. You have the 3/1 that damages you each turn, and you have the Devotees, and you have Rotten Hound. You already have quite a lot of good drops.
Yep. And moving on to the Infectee. And it's a 2 mana 0/3, kind of like PBM, except he has Burial 1, and when this creature battles a creature with level 2 or less, decrease AP of that creature by 1 after battle. And when this creature is destroyed during battle, banish the top 2 cards of target opponent's graveyard after battle. And it does a bit of everything, but not enough of anything to actually see play.
It's not going to replace Pale Blue Moon unless you're planning to do a zombie deck. The good thing that it's a zombie and you can actually play it with Lord of the Dead.
Yes, but the bad thing is that even in a zombie deck, you probably want the Pale Blue Moon because it only decreases AP after battle, and only by 1. It doesn't decrease HP, and only of level 2 or less creatures. So it's like a very, very bad Pale Blue Moon effect. That's worse in every basically scenario. Like, yes, sometimes he's gonna attack you with a couple of 1-power guys and you decrease them all, but most of the time they're just gonna hit you with a 3-drop, kill it, and finish you off.
Yes, it's not going to see that much play, but I can see it seeing play because it's a zombie. Giving it +1 attack, permanent attack with Lord of the Dead is interesting.
Yeah, that, like, it might have some tribal synergies, but Pale Blue Moon seems to do everything he does much neater and better.
Yes.
Yep. And the next card we're working with is another zombie, 3 mana 3/2, and it's called the Zombie Shaman, and it has Revenge 1, and when this creature is set into defense zone, give Contagion 1 to target creature ally controls. Now this is an interesting card. I mean, past the Doppelganger, black doesn't really have any good 3 drops.
They have Knights of Kassadin.
Well, you have to build around that. It's not something you stick into every deck, and they also have, I mean, they have Gravekeeper of Agres, but again, it's not. If you don't.
It's quite a good card with very little to no drawbacks and quite a lot of upsides.
Yes, the only problem is that if you bring it back, then basically when you play it, it comes in as a 4/2, and if you play it in defense, it gives Contagion 1 to something, which can be a pretty big swing.
Well, Contagion is a pretty good mechanic as seen by the Party of the Dead, so...
Yep.
And playing a 4/2 in defense against opponent's 4 health attacker isn't always bad.
No. And even a 4/2 in attack, I mean, that works out to be basically the same as the red one.
Yes, it doesn't even have too much conditioning to it.
Yeah.
The red one isn't 4/2 in defense.
No. I mean, Revenge 1 is slightly harder in theory to hit than just playing it in attack zone, but he only loses 1 AP, not 2 when he doesn't meet the requirement. And like playing him on turn 3 to give contagion to something is perfectly viable.
And then late game you play it as a 4/2 to finish up your opponent or your opponent's big creatures.
So this fits really well with the whole idea of black witches. All their early creatures have to be useful late game.
And well, the other thing with this is, I think, one thing that I would say is, when you've got 6 mana, you play that dog that turns into the big dog, Rotten Hound.
Yeah.
And you give your 5 mana open. And then at the end of their turn, you play Party of the Dead. And then on your turn, you play this fella in defense. And you get a 4/2 or a 3/2, depending on however many cards are in the graveyard. Yeah. And you can give one of the ghouls Contagion 1, so it might have Contagion 2. Or if it doesn't stack, you can give it to something else.
No, the way it's gonna work, actually, it's much better than Contagion 2. It's gonna get 2 Contagion 1 triggers, so you can spread it among 2 creatures.
That's even better then. So you'd have Contagion 1, and then, because you'd have 6 mana, you drop Lord of the Dead, and then you've got 2 ghouls, which are 3/1. One's got Contagion, one's got Contagion 1, and you've got your big fella in defense as well. It'll now be, maybe 5/2 or something? Which is nice.
It is nice. But the problem is, you only get Contagion when you play him in defense. So, and it's 2 toughness. This is not a guy you usually want to play in defense. That's my only problem with him. Like 2 toughness guys, you usually want to play them in attack.
Yeah, you have your keepers in defense.
It's not exactly the best defense card ever, but playing a 4/2 in defense when they try to attack with a 4 health guy, which is most likely going to be 6 cost or more, it's not always a bad idea because they have to use removal on him if they want to remove him without battle.
Yep. 9 times out of 10, he's just going to be a 4/2 in attack zone.
I think it's similar to the green one that we were talking about, the 6/2. Most of the time you're going to play him in attack, but you might play him in defense if they've got something big.
Yeah. And when you do, he can... This is especially good against green, where you drop it in defense, give Contagion to something, and suddenly that guy trades for 2 of theirs effectively.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting option, especially since black doesn't have that many good 3-drop options past Doppelgangers. I mean, you have the Gravekeeper of Agres, which you probably want to play in the Necromancy deck. You have the Lord of Darkness or whatever, who you play in a zombie deck. And this is a different alternative depending on how you want to build your deck.
The good thing again is that it's a zombie, and the zombies really lack high quality zombies. Now we have, one good one and one maybe good one.
But the thing is, when you reanimate it, you're just gonna get a 3/2 vanilla. You're not gonna get either one of those 2 effects, so that's something to keep in mind in a zombie deck.
Well, Zombie Lord doesn't reanimate level 2 or less.
Yeah, but I'm guess most zombie decks I've seen also play like Stitch together and stuff like that.
Assemble a corpse.
Assemble a corpse, yeah. And assembling this is not fun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's just
Oh yes, it's a bad card to assemble, indeed.
Okay, moving on to Greedy Evil. So this is completing the super cycle of 4 mana, 3 force with a severe drawback.
No, blue doesn't have one.
no, blue doesn't have one yet.
Oh yeah, it's not completing, it's continuing the cycle, you're right.
Yeah.
And Greedy Evil is 4 mana, 3/4 devil with Revenger 1. By the way, Revenger is such an awkward name for the mechanic.
Yeah.
I really wish they wouldn't have copyrighted Avenger. It would have been so much better.
Yeah, Revenge 1 or something like that. And
Yeah.
when this so it's potentially a 4/4 for 4 mana. And when this creature is set into creature zone, destroy target K-Dragon creature you control. And that's the drawback, and it has a secondary ability of for 2 mana you can sacrifice a K-Dragon creature and increase HP of this creature by 1/1. Then activate this creature.
This is going to be so broken. If you read it right, it doesn't say seal skills. So you basically can kill 100 1/1s in one turn if you so desire and if you have enough resources.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem with this is that black doesn't play a lot of creatures that actually wants to sacrifice. I mean, you have Doppelganger.
You have the ghouls. You don't usually want to sacrifice them, but if you really need a bonus 1/1 for this, you can pop a ghoul from Obelisk of the Dead or the Party of the Dead.
Yeah, so this guy, you would need him probably. You would need to build the deck around him. His drawback is not something where you can just stick him in a random black deck and hope for the best.
Because you have the Doppelganger usually.
Yes, but
I think he'd work well in a Knights of Kassadin deck, especially if they're using that little. If they're using the black skillboard elf as well, then it would all go quite nice together.
Yeah.
I really need that for
the problem is the Knights of Kassadin deck. It goes into so much trouble to get a 3/3 Knights of Kassadin, which is effectively a bad 4-drop. Like, if it just costed 4 mana and was a 3/3, no one would play it.
It does have immovable as well.
Yeah, immovable 3/3 for 4 mana, no one would actually play it. But people, and the 1 mana discount, people are jumping through so many hoops to try to get it, which is usually not worth it at the end. Like, I've tried it.
Well, it works if, as long as you're not building your deck around Knights of Kassadin, but you have a deck built in which Knights of Kassadin works, then it's better. If that makes sense.
Just imagine this: you can Forest of Survival it and not save the effect for Knights of Kassadin.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Forest of Survival, Summon Evil.
There are quite a lot of good ways to make it work without
and even sacrificing something like a Pale Blue Moon for a 4/4 is not the end of the world. Or a Rotten Hound. With the Zombie Lord, you can bring back like a random zombie, sacrifice it for this. So this does take some considerations before you stick it in a deck, but the potential is still a 4 mana 4/4, which is ridiculous. Because black's problem is that it can gain a lot of card advantage, but it has a problem of transforming that card advantage into actual cards on board, since basically it can gain a point where it has a lot of cards in hand but not enough mana to actually play them all, and this guy fits really well into that scenario.
Well, if you think better about it, it's not a 4 mana 4/4, it's a 4 mana 5/5 during the next turn. If you build your deck.
But I don't expect you to be often using the second ability, unless you build a very dedicated black deck. Most of the time it's gonna be just 4 mana 4/4 that you've sacrificed, like a Rotten Hound or something for. Okay,
Got a cool picture as well. Before we
Yeah.
quickly move on, it does have a nice picture.
it does. Now, speaking of 4/4s, here is a 4/4 for 5 mana with Doom 1, and the drawback is that you have to banish 5 Gaineron cards from the top of your graveyard at the beginning of each turn, and if you don't, this creature becomes deactivated and will not be activated until end of turn.
Yeah.
So now the wording is kind of awkward in it. I mean, everyone can easily figure out how this guy works in Attacker, where you play him with like 10 cards in your graveyard and you hope
Play him
to
in
trade him
summon.
off.
You
Yeah.
play him in Summon Evil, dot. You don't play him in anything else.
Well, yeah, you hope to summon evil into him, but the thing is, imagine you summon evil, and I guess it doesn't matter. Like, it's just gonna sit there for a couple of turns until you get the cards in your graveyard.
Amusing with prosperity.
Yes.
No, you can't activate it.
Why not?
It will not be activated until the end of turn.
No, but the thing is, it doesn't say it can't be activated. I think what it means
Yeah.
is that
It just means that it won't normally be activated.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So interesting how this guy works in defense. If you play this in defense and you don't have the cards for it, does it mean that it will become activated in time to block?
No, I think it means you can't activate it with prosperity. That's what it means.
Could be. Like, the wording is awkward, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. We'll have
It's something
to
that you'd have to see in
In
play, I
play.
suppose,
Yeah.
to work it
But-
out properly.
Yeah. This is a summon. It's a freebie for summon evil, absolutely useless for everything else. Since, okay, if you play one, I can see playing one off as a random, like, late game ice creature where you hope to trade him off in 2 swings.
Yeah.
But this is not the finisher you want in a black
No.
deck. At that point, you're better off playing Corrosion Destroyer if you want a 4/4. So in this late game, the 1 mana is not worth the potential of just having a dead card in your hand.
Argosian Destroyer is better than this, considering it's immune to Blow of Judgment and a lot of other
Yeah.
effects.
Yeah.
And it's
It does seem like there are some things which are sort of making them say, yeah, go and make a summon evil deck. That'll be fun.
Yep.
I think the CE sort of points towards that a little bit as well.
Yep.
I think it's also the only CE in the set which isn't from one of the pre-made decks, which
Yeah,
strikes me as odd.
And it's basically the only one that actually is usable, except Earthquake, maybe.
I think quite a few blue players use Other Side Looter.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly, that's special, that's why I thought.
Okay. Moving on, we have Buried Alive, which is basically pay 1 mana, do nothing.
This is
That's
so
what it
bad
says.
on the levels.
It's a blank
Yeah.
1 mana card that you play
And
it
it even has loyalty.
with loyalty, yes.
Yes. I think it's purely for mill decks that don't really want to be that strong.
Yeah, it mills every player for 1 card, which is it's not even burst. Like,
Yeah.
you could screw around with your opponents, like, if they're trying to hit exactly 10 cards or something if it was burst. But this is not even burst, and it's 1 mana. Considering you have the 1 mana mill 4 cards for basic, this is just doesn't do anything. It's basically a 1 mana, do
I
nothing.
think this is supposed to enable your graveyard effects, but putting 1 card there is so bad.
Yeah,
It's not even worth the card in your deck.
nope.
You might as well just graveyard a card straight from your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can discard this from your hand, gain the same effect, and save a mana. That's the use for this card.
Okay, they really should have put at least move 2 cards or 3, because 1 card is so not
useless.
even game
Yeah.
effective.
It's so relevant. Okay, moving on to Summon Evil, the Sea. I just want to point out how amazing it looks.
Well,
It does look quite cool. Yeah.
It's named
of-
that. It's named Summon Evil, as in I will.
Oh yeah, IV.
Ivan. Yeah.
It's IVII actually. That it's not an L at the end.
Ah, yes, it's
Summon Eevee.
Yeah, it's summon I the sevens basically.
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't know
So
why the CEs are all wrongly named. The green one's wrongly named as well.
yeah,
Strong Earthquake instead of Violent Earthquake.
I
And
presume they're trying to change the name or something.
yeah. Rico said
yeah,
something about them allowing him to change the names of Cs, but not the original cards.
yeah,
Why?
which seems stupid.
Because no one knows. It's a rule. And
It's
rules
Yes.
can't be
stupid to
broken
change the
unless you know
name.
the reason for the rule, and no one knows the reason for that rule, so no one can break it.
It's stupid to change the name of a C because by that rule you could actually play 8 summon evils in your deck.
Yeah. I
Because
don't
that's
think it actually works like that, but yeah.
if you have cards with different names, it doesn't matter what effects they do. If they
Yeah.
have different names, you can put for of one, for of the other.
Yep, but except this, like the coding is probably not gonna let you do it, luckily. But yeah, it's just bad. Okay, and next we get the 2 mana common Echo of the Shadow, which is decrease has loyalty 1 in case anyone wanted to get laughed out of the game for splashing this, and decrease AP of target creature opponent controls is level 5 or less by 1, then decrease AP of that creature by X until end of turn, where X is equal to the number of cards in your graveyard of the same name as this magic. So first of all, only the 1 stays permanently.
God, is that changed as well? Because I don't remember it being that
Yeah,
bad.
I think they changed that. So apparently it was too bad, so they wanted to make sure no one actually plays it.
God, that's awful.
It
Very
is so
awful.
much worse than a lot of other things, and it's even 2 mana.
Yeah.
That said, it is still better than Buried Alive.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, this card does something, just not very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you decrease AP by 1, and then you decrease by 2 or 3 more if you're lucky. Or 1 or 2, sorry, you can't. 1, 2 or 3 more
Yeah,
if you're lucky
that's only till
until
the
the
end of
end of
turn.
turn.
Awful. You're better
Yeah.
off playing. What's the weakened something?
Like when
The
I
3
first
map?
saw this card, I thought it decreased AP and the HP, and I was like, this is so good.
Oh yes, it would have been good
Yeah,
in that.
would have
Like
been good.
AP HP by 1 and then AP and by X until end of turn, like that would be a good card.
Hmm.
But since
But
it's
no.
only AP. Okay. Moving on. Stake out Fear. And if a creature opponent controls is level 4 or more is set into attack zone, decrease AP HP of that creature by 1/1, and you can activate the trap for 2 mana. And it's an interesting option for instant speed removal. I mean, currently you have Conflict of Violet, and they're both kind of competing for the same slot. Until Mercy goes out of favor, I don't see people playing this over Conflict.
Okay.
Yeah.
This card is so wrong in so many ways. It does exactly what Explosive Cloud does, but it does more for the same cost.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, but this is black, not blue.
How can they make cards that cost the same and are blatantly obviously more powerful than the other cards that
Because
cost
some
the same?
cards, some colors are supposed to be better at doing some stuff. How come all the green creatures are bigger than black creatures and stuff? I
Yes,
mean,
but how can you pay 3 to deal 1 damage and give -1 attack, and then pay 3 for the other union to deal just 1 damage?
well, how come blue gets a 1 mana, I believe, Firebolt, which is deal 1 damage to a creature, while black gets
Harsh Torture. Yeah,
yeah,
which is
Harsh Torture,
bad.
which is just, I
It's
mean,
not exactly bad.
but it's straight up worse than the blue one.
Well,
So
not
it's,
Firebolt.
exactly.
it does the same thing except only to 1 HP creatures.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, it both the traps are decent enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
for the
-1
most part,
attack is so much better than just -1 attack and health is so much better than -1 health only.
And
Just
dealing
look
1
at the
damage to any creature is so much better than killing a 1 HP creature. I mean, not all colors do everything equally. I don't really have a problem with that.
well, just look
Yeah,
at
I mean,
the basic abilities. Blue has the 1 damage, 1 cost ability,
Yeah,
and black has a 2 cost ability that gives -1 attack, -1 health.
yeah,
So this should at least cost 1 more to activate.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I mean, for
yeah,
the most part, the blue uses it to do 1 damage. We never think, oh, I wish I could reduce the AP of that creature by
yeah.
1.
It's
So
quite
it's not.
useful in so many ways because you could reduce a Master of Mind and then eat it with your own Master of Mind.
Yeah. I mean, if it's significantly better, you can just splash it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not a huge issue. Um, I can see why it's annoying, but I don't really
Yeah,
care.
that's a good way of putting it. Okay,
Yeah.
moving on. We have the Bloody Sword, which
Has
is
this been
3.
changed as well? Just quickly, has that been slightly changed? I don't know if it used to decrease the HP of your hero by 1.
It did.
It did? Okay.
Oh, wait, did it?
Yes, yes, it was exactly the same.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it?
it did.
Okay.
So increase AP of your so for 2 mana you increase the AP of your hero by 3 until end battle of turn, then decrease the HP of your hero by 1. And for 4 mana increase the AP of your hero by 3 and give Bloodthirst 1 to your hero.
Well,
I think it's good in a Chelsea attack.
this is the Rusty Sword, or however that thing
Yeah.
from Aspire is called for black.
Yeah,
It's quite excellent for what it does.
but the thing is, I would rather just play Rusty Sword. Or like I would just play the basic Red Sword because it's like 3 mana.
No, it's 4.
Well, not the basic, sorry, the Rusty Sword. It's 4 mana. It's 3 mana. You lose 1 HP when you play it. It's the same mana. It's the same mana to activate. And this one you lose HP every time you activate it.
Well, yes, but you have the option to use the Bloodthirst activation.
Maybe. But I'm not even sure how often that's gonna come into play.
Well, for late game, it's very powerful because usually you want to play the weapons late game in black decks or white or blue decks or decks that don't try to kill the opponent in one turn with weapons.
Maybe. I
I think,
mean,
yeah, I
it's
think
the
it's quite good
best
for what it
item.
does.
It's the best black item. I mean, weapon.
I think it's the only black weapon that's actually usable.
Yeah, and it might actually see play, but it's not something that gets me really excited. Since I could get a very similar effect for just splashing something.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The
Also-
thing with this is that it gives you quite a lot of advantage late game. Giving Bloodthirst 1 to your hero, even if it costs more than the red sword, it's basically you're healing 1 each turn. Which is
Well, yeah,
literally-
it's basically 4 to give your hero 3 AP and 1 SP, really.
yes.
Which is fine, it's not bad. But also another thing is there's so much hate, weapon hate running around that if your item is not named Mercy of Dawn, you're just not getting value out of your weapons. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
You're just enabling so much hate and so much value from all the other colors because if you don't play any items, you can actually usually like blank a good 5-6 cards in your opponent's deck. Starting from the red shards and even the green 3/1 for 4 mana that destroys a level 3 item. Like it
Yep.
and stuff like that, and every color everyone is playing something. So not playing not playing an item is
Yeah,
actually
for now.
good.
Yeah, for now, not playing an item gives you the extra deck slot. Maybe in future, when people stop mercying, then we might see a bit more weapons
Unless they
variety.
nerf it, people won't stop playing
Yeah.
Mercy.
The thing is that even with all the hate, Mercy is still good because it fundamentally breaks the game. The first rule
Yeah.
of the game.
Mercy is good because you keep it in play 1-2 turns and you already get value out of
Yeah.
it without paying any costs.
Yep.
From
Okay.
other weapons, you don't usually get enough value to say it was worth it to keep around for one turn only.
Yep. Okay, moving on to less depressing things. We have the black uncommon shard, Darkness Within. It has burial too, just like all the other ones. It draws your card, and its abilities move target creature open controls on the defense zone is level 2 or less to the attack zone. And I honestly think that people are just gonna play 4 of these in every black deck without too much thought.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
I would agree with
little
that.
reason to not play them.
Yeah,
It's
they're
very
the
clear you wouldn't want
unlike
it.
the other colors, this one is never gonna backfire on you unless you're playing against a red deck that has the 2/2 for 2 on defense. That's the
Yeah.
only card that punishes you for playing this.
And you can
Because
simply not play it then.
yeah, because while some like the thing is, if your opponent wants to have something on defense zone, moving it out of defense zone is usually gonna give you value. And it's
Yeah.
not like something they can play around where they know it's coming.
Agreed. The only times this is going to backfire are against the cards nobody plays, or if you're incredibly stupid to use it at a stupid time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it would be really bad against that green 1 mana 2/1 that can only be played in defense,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't use it when that's there, and
No
nobody
one
plays that
plays
card
that.
anyway. So,
No
Well,
one plays that. It's horrible.
the only card that sees play is the 2/2 for 2 red that can only be played in defense and then move to the attack for 3 mana.
Yep.
And this would be awkward with it, but I mean, at that point, you just don't play it. You mana zone it and play something else if you have to.
Yep. And even further, burial like this is good in black because maybe if you have a necromancy in your hand, then you bury something useful.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Black
only
is one of those
for
colors that like naturally uses advantage of cards in the graveyard better than most other colors without like working for it basically.
They shouldn't have given it such a powerful effect
Yeah.
with burial that is already a powerful effect for
Well, the
them.
thing is, this card is at its best against other black decks because the card you really want to put to attack zone is PBM, Pale Blue Moon.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the card you really want to
And I think,
shift.
and any blue decks that are still playing Gemstone, the 1/2 Magic Ward, is
Yeah.
good against that as well.
Well, I mean, you move him to attack and he's not useless. The problem with Pale Blue Moon is that it's useless in
Yeah, he's-
attack until you spend the mana to transform.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because he becomes useless, but for the most part, people will put something with Magic Ward in defense because they know it's a defender that's going to stay there for an attack or two. If you bring it to attack, then because, like you said, if people put something in defense, they're putting it in defense because they want it in defense.
Yeah, I can just see like turns 3 or 4 playing this and opening up like brutal attacks.
Yeah,
Honestly, I could see using this in my blue deck.
I would do Red Rush. I can see Red Rush splashing this.
This would
yeah,
be
I've
actually
considered
good.
splashing it in my Red Rush, but I don't have one. But the red shard is very good in Red Rush as well.
And so
Oh, we'll come on to that.
and so is the blue one, which deals 1 damage to something in attack. But yeah, like this effect. But yeah, so this is the thing is this effect is really doesn't have a drawback unless you play against a very specific deck. It's not like the white one where it can potentially backfire against you if you're not careful.
Yep.
Okay, so that wraps it up for black. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will be back.